people shouldn't be drinking soda. It makes no sense. There's people that are sort of pushed towards drinking diet soda because it doesn't have quote unquote the right amount of sugar in it or that much sugar, but both are dangerous, aren't they?
Absolutely, both are dangerous. And if your organs have fat in them, guess what? It's going to slow your metabolism down. So we have to work at all angles of trying to get that under control. So I think that should be a vital sign in every clinician's office across the country. And we should maybe even have a form of it in every single home.
We've got Congress that's acting like a bunch of drunken sailors, spending money like there's no tomorrow, right? The end of 2022, you had the lame duck Congress that passed a $1.7 trillion spending bill, but they don't have it. No country around the globe has money right now.
Did you know that drinking soda, whether it's diet or otherwise, may be killing you? Recent research has come out on the fact that if you drink more than 2 sodas a day, it may have an impact on your long-term health. You may actually be ending your life too soon.
Those are strong statements you just said. I do think that there's more even to that of a damaging effect. Like people shouldn't be drinking soda. It makes no sense. There's people that are sort of pushed towards drinking diet soda because it doesn't have quote unquote the right amount of sugar in it or that much sugar, but both are dangerous, aren't they?
Absolutely, both are dangerous. And even when reading these particular articles, I always have to take them with a grain of salt because each individual person, the toxic load that or burden that they put on their bodies every single day for the passing years that they've lived has not been evaluated. So the toxic load has to be considered in the person's certain circumstance, not just the soda or the diet soda.
Well, here's a couple of things. So the pitfalls of drinking real soda. Obviously, in today's world, in America, they're sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, okay?
That's an ouch.
That is toxic to the body. The body cannot break that down. And if you want to have fatty liver, drink sodas, right?
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
isn't high fructose corn syrup now deemed the number one cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in America today?
It is, and it's estimated that 1 in 4 persons right now in our great country have non-alcoholic fatty liver and have no idea. And so then there's that. And then you have to think about that, consuming that, connected with other things you consume through diet that also have high fructose corn syrup. So it's a mess. And so I am adamant about, if you're a parent out there, I'm adamant, do not introduce sodas to your kids. There's nothing good that can happen from that. And then diet soda has a whole other problematic ingredient list to it as well. The thing that I found fascinating with that is one of the ingredients in diet soda actually has the ability to form formaldehyde. So formaldehyde is what we do to
That
pickle
must
dead
be
people.
aspartame.
That's it. So it is aspartame. So there you go. So ultimately, when I look at diet soda, when you drink that, you're just kind of preparing yourself to be dead.
Well, and
Pretty strong statement too.
that is a pretty strong statement. Uh, Association does not mean
No.
causation. So just because somebody drinks diet soda and their life ends early doesn't mean that diet soda is essentially the cause. We have to look at all of the other summation of what went into that person's life.
Mhm.
And we studied genetics. And we know that the genes are the loaded gun and the environment pulls the trigger. So if a person has genes that are weak in the area of detoxification, per se, that person may not be able to handle the toxic load of artificial sweeteners. So therefore, their liver, their cells at the cellular level may become damaged because of this foreign substance quicker and faster than somebody who has a normal detox potential.
Well, either way, you think about something called resilience. I mean, our resilience, some people have greater resilience than others to take in toxins, and sometimes people can take them in for 30, 40, 50 years and nothing. And all of a sudden,
Hmm.
boom. Some people, it affects them earlier. And by the way, I'm not saying that sodas cause cancer. I'm not going to go there because that does not directly correlate.
Association does not mean causation.
But here's the thing. 2 million new cases every year right now are being diagnosed. 2 million. 609,000 people die every year of cancer to date. It will overtake in our lifetime. You hear me? In the next 10 years, it will overtake heart disease as the #1 killer in America. Could this toxic load, toxic mess that we're bringing our bodies in, talking about sodas included in that mess, could it be contributory? I think yes.
Well, absolutely. We know that the solution to pollution is dilution. In order to live a long and healthy life, we have to really be cognizant about what we put in this skin bag, this temple, this body that we live in, because at the end of the day, all things matter. You might forget about what you had for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner, but let me tell you, your body doesn't forget it. It goes through your liver, it goes
Mhm.
through all these processing plants, no pun intended, all these enzyme little factories that are inside your cells, and your body has to deal with that. So, kind of a rule of thumb is if you turn the label over on the back of anything
Hmm.
that you're consuming and you don't know what it is and you can't understand it, can you imagine what's happening to your body at the cellular level? Perhaps that's the problem. We're putting too many chemical products into a body that is designed to have fresh and raw fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, good clean proteins, and not these chemical modulators.
You want to, this is related. See if you can guess this riddle. Here you go. It's a riddle from my wife. She has no idea I'm going to ask her this question. Which doctor in the world who is well known has mastered the art of malpractice and hurting people?
I'm not going to say that out loud.
Dr. Pepper. There you go. How about
I
that?
was like, I
Pretty
I
good
would
one,
have
huh?
got that
Just came up
wrong.
with that right now. Isn't that good?
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, ultimately,
Who is
folks.
Dr. Pepper?
Well, he's a quack, right? So the thing is, folks, we say, well, one is not a big deal, and perhaps it's not. But the more you open that door and allow toxins to enter that are known carcinogens, that are known things that the liver doesn't break down that contribute to fatty liver, it's a bad deal. So, Diet Coke, diet soda, real soda, we don't think it's any good at all. And I think we need to avoid that. There's a lot of different substitutes out there. These carbonated waters with flavors are really, really good. So get away from soda, gravitate towards water as your chosen drink, and you'll find your health improving along the way.
What is your metabolic type, and how do you keep healthy with the type you have?
We're going to find out what ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph means next.
And when you navigate through these economies with people, here's what happens. We want to hold their hand through it, let them know when it's time to buy, sell, reallocate, get out of Dodge. Because a lot of times when you're struck with fear does two things. Number one, it can paralyze, and people just put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to forget about it and hopefully it gets better. Or it causes you to make a wrong decision. And this is why we are here, is to help people navigate through the political quagmire nonsense that's going on, the economic malaise, and the absolute collapse that we're seeing. And when our freedoms are eroding, our political freedoms, our economic freedoms, our personal freedoms, our religious freedoms, our health freedoms, they're all tied together. But you know what doesn't need to erode with that? Our finances.
KirkElliottPhD.com/Sherwood.
Let's get real. Most emergency food is just as bad for you as any other choice in the standard American diet. And that's just sad.
We don't just need food. We need highly nutritional food.
We don't just want to survive food shortages, we are meant to thrive in adversity.
Complete your daily nutrition and have shelf-stable Kingdom Fuel as a cornerstone of your food supply.
Don't sacrifice your health or your taste buds.
Stock up on Kingdom Fuel now. The body's amazing at recovery, so you want to give it every chance, no matter what time it is. So in that context, no, it's certainly never too late. You're never too old to start trying to be healthy.
No matter where you are in terms of your health, that you can turn this around.
It's never too late to start a wellness program, and it's never too late to reach your healthcare goals. There's an old adage, and I'm not sure where it came from, but I really do like it. And they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
We just want people to hang on to hope.
We are hope dealers. And if you are not paying attention to the 4 foundational pillars of health, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, eventually it is going to catch up.
If we get all those 4 areas right, and we do it right, we see a dynamic occur in the middle called wellness, and that's where people get better. Their health is really going to return as a side effect of wellness.
Let's shine the spotlight on one of our star supplements.
The human body can make most of the types of fats it needs from other fats or raw materials, but not omega-3 fatty acids, also called omega-3 fats or N3 fats.
These are essential fats that the body must get from food.
Biomega 1000 provides a potent dose of omega-3 essential fatty acids sourced from a strategically placed fishing facility in the far South Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile.
Each capsule delivers an impressive 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, and the capsules also contain vitamin E. See the link below for a special offer, and remember, don't be fooled by cheap online knockoffs. People often ask us, how do I understand my metabolic type, and how can I live and be healthy with that metabolic type? Well, as we know, people come in all different kinds of shapes and sizes.
No doubt.
Some people are thin, just overly thin. Some people are overly muscular, and others, boy, they just have an easy capacity to put on that little extra weight without eating a whole lot of anything.
They do. There's different body types that sort of run in familial lineages. You can kind of see this, and some people are more. I think a good way the proper terms are ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph. But really,
Define those.
Well, let's see if I can remember. The ectomorph is the big person, right?
The ectomorph is the tall, thin person that can eat anything they want.
Yeah, there you go.
And basically never gain weight.
Endomorph is the big person.
No matter what they eat, they can try to diet like crazy and they still gain weight.
The mesomorph is medium size.
And they put on muscle very, very easily, whether they exercise or not.
Well, I look at it, if you want to simplify that, some people have skinny genes, some people have fat genes, and some people have medium genes. And the bottom line is that doesn't make them good or bad. It just makes different shapes of people. Like there are people that have tendencies to be tall and slim and make great basketball players and great basketball families. There's people that are massive and make big football lineman families, or something like that. But we really have to think about, can the amount of fat tissue that we accumulate on that, does it matter? And it does, whether you're skinny or ectomorph or mesomorph. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is you have a chance to keep that body fat down, and we should.
Well, when we evaluate someone in the clinic, we do a couple really cool things. One is we always look at body composition. It tells us what your body weight is. It tells us how many pounds of muscle you have. It tells us what your body fat percentage is. And then, of course, it tells us what your visceral fat is. And if your organs have fat in them, guess what? It's going to slow your metabolism down. So we have to work at all angles of trying to get that under control. So I think that should be a vital sign in every clinician's office across the country. And we should maybe even have a form of it in every single home so that we're not obsessed with scale weight. We actually understand body composition as a vital sign. We want to make sure we maintain lean mass and that we don't diet or starve it off, because the loss of muscle is frailty, and frailty is a disease. So Body composition is one way to make sure that you are staying in line with your health long term. Number two is we run genetics. That genetic testing tells us about your metabolic type. Are you a person that needs to be on a low carbohydrate nutritional protocol? Are you one that needs a low fat protocol? Are you one that needs kind of both, like a Mediterranean plan? Each individual genotype requires something just a little bit differently. And then, of course, we have to take the individual into consideration based on what they've been through in their life. So, some people need to be very, very careful with all foodstuffs until they get that body composition under control.
Well, it's very interesting what you just said. You didn't talk about weight with that, and I thought that was good because it's not about weight. I've had people that are tall and slim that think they can eat anything they want, and they don't get, but they do get really sick. I was talking to a guy the other day that's just terrible type 2 diabetes, and he's very thin. He was 150 pounds. And I'm like, well, weight has nothing to do with directly with illness. So these metabolic types are good to be aware of in the way you train and the way you eat, etc. But all of them can accumulate belly fat, which is visceral fat. So measuring the right thing is important. Knowing your body type is important, and that sort of goes into the idea of how do you treat the whole person to maximize the health of that person.
That's right. Weight loss is a side effect of wellness. And if we put the right tips into place, the body composition falls into line. Of course, we've got to eat right. We've got to get the right amount of protein so we don't lose muscle and we don't become frail or weak. And we want to optimize the loss of fat. For example, for every pound you're overweight, it's times 10 on your joints and your vascular system. So if you find yourself a little bit fatigued, perhaps you need to get on a body composition analysis machine. Just because you're tall and you look thin does not mean that you're not sarcopenic obese. So your body composition might still be out of line.
That's true. And, I think people probably right now are going, am I ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph? You're kind of right thinking, like, what does that mean? I think the bottom line is, whatever your shape is, realize that you can maximize that shape. And you can't make your shape be any different, but you can be very fit at whatever shape metabolically your body's tendency is.
That's right. And some people are genetically engineered to be able to put on muscle very easy.
Yep.
And others genetically are not. So the ones that are not able to, they might be able to train right, feed the system right, rest the system right, so that they can get to the body composition or the look that they desire.
Well, and my wife and I would be more or less
Mesomorphs.
types, because we can put on muscle and all that, but we still could be overweight, we can still be underweight. But the bottom line is, your metabolic type's really cool to know that. Kind of understand that. You can see it down through your children. Sometimes parents have kids, more than one. One will have this and one will have that. And you got to watch the comparison factor with that for sure, because it can really mess up somebody. Why can't you be more like your brother? Or why can't you be more like your sister? That's not cool. So knowing all this is very important, but ultimately maximize your health by understanding who you are, how you are, and then treat it right. All right. So there you go. How about that for your metabolic tips? Up next, our financial guru, Kirk Elliott, gives us advice on what you need to know at this time in history.
How can boosting your daily nutrition save you money? I'm Dr. Michele Sherwood.
And I'm Dr. Mark Sherwood. Kingdom Fuel costs about a third of the average lunch and will supersize your nutrition.
Our unique meal shakes are balanced, low glycemic, rich in fiber with 20 grams of clean protein, essential vitamins and minerals, healthy fats, and organic fruits and vegetables.
Kingdom Fuel is a simple start to a transformed life.
Hello, I'm Kevin Sorbo. Now, there's an old saying, it's not what you know, but who you know that matters. Now, that's true in our careers, spiritual life, and when it comes to our health and overall well-being. Today, most of us know a lot of information about health and nutrition, but are we really doing anything with it? So here's what I've learned from working with Doctors Michele and Mark Sherwood. They're the founders of the Functional Medical Institute. You need a wellness plan that's customized based on your unique needs. Now remember, real change can only happen when you address the whole person. That is exactly what Mark and Michele do, and why they are people you should know. They'll help you discover what you need to experience transformation. Find out more at sherwood.tv/sorbo. That's sherwood.tv/sorbo, or just see the link below. Have a great day and God bless.
Let's shine the spotlight on one of our star supplements.
The human body can make most of the types of fats it needs from other fats or raw materials, but not omega-3 fatty acids, also called omega-3 fats or N3 fats.
These are essential fats that the body must get from food.
Biomega 1000 provides a potent dose of omega-3 essential fatty acids sourced from a strategically placed fishing facility in the far South Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile.
Each capsule delivers an impressive 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, and the capsules also contain vitamin E. See the link below for a special offer, and remember, don't be fooled by cheap online knockoffs.
Hey, Mark, great to be with you again. I wish it could be with better news, right? But yet I do have a smile on my face because there's solutions. So make sure you watch this whole video because we do have solutions for this. But what I want to talk about is the unrelenting spending happening in America right now. We've got Congress that's acting like a bunch of drunken sailors, spending money like there's no tomorrow, right? The end of 2022, you had the lame duck Congress that passed a $1.7 trillion spending bill, right? 1.7 trillion. Now, I wouldn't have such an issue with it if we actually had $1.7 trillion laying around. Then you just be allocating what you already have and, just saying where it's going to go. But they don't have it. No country around the globe has money right now, right? Because 2 years of COVID, 2 years plus of COVID, people weren't spending. There's supply chain disruptions. There's issues. There's higher taxation. Now, so what did that force countries to do? Print money like there's no tomorrow to try to inflate or die. Because if they didn't, there wasn't enough government tax revenue from sales tax revenues, property tax revenues, income tax revenues to actually fund the government. Because it's a global economic slowdown. And in fact, projections just the second week in January came out that because of all the fracturing of countries in this globalized world, right? Because of import and export controls, what Russia's doing now and telling America and the G7 nations, which are the US, the Western industrialized economies of Europe, Japan, right? It's like, hey, you guys signed the stupid accord that capped Russian oil at $60 a barrel when oil was 79. And back when he did that on December 3rd, when Biden signed that into law, it's like, if I were Putin, I wouldn't sell to those countries, right? Why would I sell them oil at a $19 barrel loss? And sure enough, December 28th, he said exactly that. He said, I'm not selling you any oil come February 1st. So what's that going to do to the price of oil? Make it go possibly double, because Russia is the largest supplier of oil and gas in the whole world. Right. And we're talking about the G7 industrialized nations. They're not chump change either. Right. So oil is going to go through the roof. If we think we've seen even the middle to the end of inflation yet, you're kidding yourselves. We haven't. So inflation is going to come. Oil prices are going to go through the roof. And I don't care if you're the biggest green proponent on the planet and you have your solar power, your wind power, and your electric Tesla, right? They all use petroleum. There's oil in the gears, right, of any machine and any windmill. There's oil in the bearings and grease of your tires in your electric car. Petroleum products are used in the plastic on your dashboard in your electric car, right? So there's no getting around it. Inflation is going to be coming. And we've got a Congress that's spending money like there's no tomorrow. And like we talked about on a previous show, the potential run on the banks and the FDIC being underinsured, what would be the end result of that? The mother of all quantitative easing, probably $5 to $7 trillion on top of the $1.7 trillion that they just spent, on top of them having to raise the debt ceiling yet again, right? So we're talking about all these different spending projects that are all in the trillions. We don't have the money. So inflation is going to persist because government revenues aren't there. So therefore, they're going to have to print without discretion like there's no tomorrow, right? So how do you protect yourselves? Like we've talked, and I admit I sound like a broken record, like a one-hit wonder, right? But if there was something else that we could do to protect and preserve, I would say it. We would do it. I don't care what the asset is, as long as it's minimizes our risk, maximizes our return. So your IRAs, they need to be reallocated into gold and silver. Your brokerage accounts need to be reallocated into gold and silver. Your bank account shouldn't have too much cash because the banks are at risk, right? So give our office a call, take advantage of these trends so the trends don't take advantage of you. Get out of harm's way into gold and silver, which are growing like crazy, Mark, crazy. I mean, we're up 98% in silver over the last 2.5 years, but the more immediate trend over the last 12 weeks, we're seeing up 40%. That's incredible. In a world where there's so much fear, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much doubt, this can put a smile on your face. So give us a call. We'd love to help you out. Mark has arranged for that to happen. We'll take good care of you. Free consultations, right? 720-605-3900. Just say Dr. Mark sent you, or simply you can go to kirkelliottphd.com/Sherwood and get on our calendars for that free consultation. We'll help you out.
I know you are God. I can't believe I trusted you.
I'm Michele. I'd love to work here.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion?
Yes, Master, I do.
We need to get you more competition.
And
Nationals?
finally, the Olympic team selection tournament.
Did somebody try to hurt you again?
Yes. But I don't think anyone will ever believe me.
She's working on being a homeless Olympic champion, and now she has somebody footing the bill for college so she can become a doctor.
We have to pray on the list so that in all of God's glory, each item on the list will come to a fruitful and gratifying beginning.
There's a lot of talk these days about human enhancement.
Terms like biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, and anti-fragility.
In our clinic, the Functional Medical Institute, we've been helping people of all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds improve their quality of their physiology and maximize their lives.
So, you can follow the latest fads and gimmicks and maybe find some things that work for you.
Or you can add Kingdom Fuel to your daily regimen right now.
It's the simple start to a transformed life.
Our unique meal shakes are balanced, low glycemic, rich in fiber with 20 grams of clean protein, essential vitamins and minerals, healthy fats, and organic fruits and vegetables. Kingdom Fuel is vegan with a complete amino acid profile.
No gimmicks, just proven results.
Start today at sherwood.tv/fuel.